Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Great to see everybody. Thank you all for coming. Terrific to see so many people coming back. If you are here for the first time, welcome. Great to see you. Welcome to Monday morning warm-ups. We are doing warm-ups this morning with some very, very special Australians who are living overseas, and that is the theme for the day. This week we have three very, very special guests. From my left going across, we have Jenna Breen, who is the second horn in the Seattle Symphony.
Hello.
Morning, Jenna.
How's it going?
Hello.
Good. I know this is very early for Jenna. It's 8 in the morning.
I hate mornings so much.
Also 8 in the morning in Seattle. So thank you for getting up. It is a lot later in the day where Casey Rippon is. Casey Rippon is the second horn in the... It comes under several names, right? Your orchestra or your organisation, right, Casey?
Probably the Bayerische, but we're also the Bayerische Staatsorchester, but same.
And for those of you who don't speak German, it's the Bavarian State Orchestra and the Bavarian State Opera, where Casey works, and it is absolutely fantastic opera house, amazing orchestra, amazing opera company in Munich. So, are you in Munich at the moment?
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
5 in the afternoon here, so it's not so bad for a warm-up.
Yeah, that sounds pretty comfy. And we will be joined by Gill Williams, who is the first horn in the Beethoven Orchestra in Bonn. Gill is actually rehearsing with the Beethoven Orchestra in Bonn at the moment, but fortunately her house is across the street, so she'll be with us in a few minutes. So let's get going with some warm-ups. So we're just going to focus on your breathing as low as you can, and then we're just going to blow out onto your fingers, and then the second breath we're going to blow through the mouthpiece. So it looks something like this. Nice and free, really feel how open that is through your chest, and then the same feeling through your mouthpiece. Same thing again, onto your fingers and then onto your mouthpiece. Terrific. If you get a little lightheaded from that, that's probably a good thing. It means that you're actually moving air, so that's no worries. Now we're going to start on an F, so concert B flat. Concert B flat, we're going to play two notes without articulation, just focusing on replicating the same feeling that you just did onto your fingers and into mouthpiece. And then we're going to do two notes with the articulation. So we'll start on concert B flat. And we'll head down by half step. Terrific. So very easy, relaxed start so that we're focusing on moving the airstream as our primary thing. Not worrying about too much how it sounds. I don't know about you guys, but I know first thing in the morning, it does not sound great. So that could stress me out. But it doesn't, because I just focus on moving my air, and I know within a couple of minutes my sound starts to come back and everything's fine. So I'm not really trying to manipulate my sound. I'm trying to get that feeling of moving the air relaxed and open and letting everything fall into place. All right, so we're going to do extension of this. So we're just going to go into repeated notes, and then we get to find out something about Jenna Breen's history, which will be very exciting. Actually, she's got a very interesting story about what she has been doing in COVID times, which is, it shocked me, but it's very impressive. So repeated notes, so we're just going to go backwards and forwards. Again, focusing on the airstream, making sure that the air moves the same for each group of notes. So we're blowing through the group of notes, and the tongue will just cut the air at those different intervals. So we're going to play, well, you'll see. We've done this before. For those of you who've been there before, you're familiar with this one. If you haven't been, if this is your first time, you're in for something that is very exciting. Okay, so starting on middle C, concert F. Fantastic. So if you find, like me, that as you get going with this one, things get a little tighter and you feel a little bit more restricted, and this is the same with any exercise that you're playing, this is your best friend. If you have a straw from McDonald's, or I've heard actually Chick-fil-A is actually very good with the straws. There you go, Ellie's got the straw. IKEA actually produce very nice straws. We are not sponsored by IKEA, just so if anyone wants to worry about that. But, oh, Cindy, that's a straw. That's a good straw right there. So just do the exercise through your straw, through the back of the mouthpiece, to really feel what's going on, to sort of recalibrate you. I do this a lot when I'm in my practice, just going back to the mouthpiece, going away from the horn. That'll solve most of my problems. If I try and fix the problems on the horn, it generally compounds them. So let's just do the first couple through the back of the mouthpiece, or through your straw. Okay, that's probably enough. Otherwise we end up, I'll see all these people just like collapsing, falling on the floor. So let's go to A on the horn. Concert A, concert D. great. So I don't know about you, but I find that really opens up my sound straight away. Immediately, everything is more free, more full, easier. So that one can go as low as you like with that particular exercise. And I don't like doing that one too high because it's quite static. So the highest I'll go on that one is maybe a C in the stave, but definitely a good one for low. And if you want to build your low register, a lot of that one in the low register is great. So good morning, Jenna Breen.
Good morning.
So Jenna, you have a great story for us about what you've been doing in COVID, and it's not related to the horn.
It's not at all. If any of you follow me on Instagram at Jenna Plays Horn, you will not get any horn content at all. It's pretty much all just photos of my new hobby, which is flying planes. I got my pilot's license during COVID.
Very cool, Jenna. Awesome. So you grew up in Queensland in Australia?
Yes, in Noosa on the Sunshine Coast. Best place in the country, in my opinion.
So Jenna has played in many orchestras in Australia, or probably actually played more Australian orchestras, or held positions in more Australian orchestras than just about anybody.
Nah, not more than you, I don't think. But
I don't know, but you had a job in Perth and in Melbourne and in all over the place, right?
just those two. I had a couple contracts, I guess, in other places, but yeah.
And now you're in Seattle. So it's a beautiful hall you have up there, great orchestra.
It is.
And, not very good weather, so that's nice.
It rains a lot, but that's okay. When it's sunny, it's beautiful. There's mountains everywhere.
Yeah. All right. So Jenna, you have some. Yeah, give us one of your favourite warm-up exercises.
Okay. So this is the low register glissando one. So you start on B flat side open, and you are bending from F down to C down to F. And the idea is to kind of bend the pitch until it falls onto the next harmonic rather than going to where you think that note should be. Crescendo through the whole time, and then I have added a major scale onto the end of it. I'll just demonstrate. So starting on horn F, concert B flat. And then descend to E. E flat. D. Now we switch to the F side of the horn, so open. And as we get lower, I try to focus on sustaining the low note as like solid and consistently as possible, so it doesn't get kind of shaky. Try and fight that the shake if it comes. A. Now 1 and 3 for G. That's where I leave it.
Terrific. Really, really good. Nice combination of us moving into the low register and also building in some articulation.
Yeah. I also add, when I want to expand that more, I add a chromatic scale back up after the repeated low note, just to get, I find it harder to come back up out of that register rather than go down into it.
Yep. Cool. Awesome. Very quickly, good morning to Gill Williams. Gill is joining us from Bonn. She's just stepped out of rehearsal. Gill is the solo horn in the Beethoven Orchestra in Bonn. Gill, can you hear us?
Yep, hi. Great to see so many people.
It's a lot of people.
Yeah, although I've got to say just had a 1.5 hour rehearsal of Siegfried Idyll and I'm quite warmed up already, so.
Oh, all right. Thank you. We will get back to you in a second. I am going to now. What are we going to? Oh, because Jenna triggered my idea of that I had this morning. I'm glad you played this one, Jenna. We're going to do what we call slow scales. So basically, what Jenna did, but we're going to start in the opposite direction. So let's start on. Let's start on a B flat, concert B flat, an F. Really, really simple scales, focusing on moving our air and having our tongue be as consistent as we can. So. Oh, actually, no, we'll do this one. So focusing on our airstream as we go higher, speeding up the airstream as we're going lower, opening up the airstream. Go to F sharp for Tyler Goodwin. And that one we can take up as high as you like. We can also speed up the articulation. This is always a good one to do if you're practicing double tonguing. So you can play. Let's try that. And again, going back to the sort of theme of blowing through your mouthpiece, always good to set this exercise up with the mouthpiece if you're practicing double tonguing, just to feel what is going on with your tongue. And then put that into the horn. And as you can hear from me, pretty glad that I'm not playing Scheherazade anytime soon. Is the first thing that comes to mind with that one. Casey Rippon from Munich. You grew up in Newcastle. Am I right? Is that right?
All right.
I thought so. Newcastle, for those of you who don't know, is about a 2-hour drive north of Sydney. Newcastle is a beautiful city. It's known as the Steel City. Isn't that right, Casey?
Yeah, there used to be a very large steel factory, like a steelworks, I guess is what they call it.
Right. Yeah, cool. And it's a beautiful town. Very nice place, right on the coast. Gorgeous. So Casey, you've got a really good exercise for us.
Okay, so this one I think is particularly good for learning to do soft playing or to practice soft playing and soft articulation, because I play in an opera orchestra, so we have to do a lot of that. But the most important part of this is to play, so thinking that the exercise is more of a song. So always focus on the music and not think about what you're doing. So add a lot of phrasing. It doesn't matter what phrasing you're doing, and you can change it up for every arpeggio, but always add a lot of music to it. So don't think about what you're doing, more thinking about how it should sound. So it's first of all just an arpeggio. So just starting on C and an arpeggio, and then from a C down back to the third, so the E. And now we'll go back down and start on the B natural. And now to the D. And that you can basically just keep on going. I usually go until you get the octave of the F sharp, but you could really just go as far as you want.
Terrific. Awesome. Thank you, Casey. All right. Jill Williams, fresh off Siegfried Deal from next door. Jill is a Sydney person, right?
Yes, Sydney person.
Sydney person. And so when did you move overseas?
So I came over to study. I studied in Hanover in 2014, and then I quite quickly got what they call here a practicum, which is like an internship where you do 15 services a month with an orchestra in Bochum. And then I got a couple of jobs after that before I ended up now in Solothurn in Bonn. So I was also in Kassel, I was in Weimar for a while, and also in Magdeburg.
Cool.
So a couple of...
So, Jill, you have an exercise for us this morning?
I do. It's the James Stamp warm-up, which is one of the first exercises I like to do in the morning, just to make sure the lips are working. But opposite to what's on the printout, I like to start on a middle G, and then I like to go down chromatically. So we start. And then I also like to do it buzzing, but I think we're warmed up enough now that we can skip that. And then we go downwards. And the nice thing about this exercise is there's lots of variations. You can then add in a full scale afterwards or a descending scale at the end of the pattern as well. And then I tend to be quite boring with my routine in the mornings when I'm warming up and spend a lot of time on one exercise. So I'll go all the way down into pedal register with the same exercise before moving on to a different exercise. And often I'll go start middle, go all the way down, and then start on a different exercise and then low register and go upwards, depending on what I've got planned, whether I've got a concert on for the day or if I'm just practicing and then working from warm up into my technical routine.
Fantastic. Thanks, Jill. Awesome. It would not be an Aussie warm-up session if we did not do Allen Mann flexibilities. So Allen Mann flexibilities, we're going to do a few of these. We'll start with a few simple ones, and then we need to finish with a person that has influenced all of us, whether we realise it or not, is Hector MacDonald. Hector MacDonald was in the Berlin Philharmonic for a couple of years, and was the solo horn in the Vienna Symphonica for about 30 years, actually, I think. So Hector is a bit of a legendary Australian, so we're going to do Hector's exercise at the end. But let's start with some Allen Mann flexibilities. Okay, last one. And of course that can keep going down to lower. Hector's exercise, this is one that we used as a challenge back in the summer. And this is all about breath control and speed of your flexibility. So So that one is Hector's. I think it comes up in it'll be in the folder in the files of IAM Community as Hector number 2, and it is a fantastic one to practice for you moving through the registers and getting your flexibility going. This just leaves me to basically say thank you very much to everyone. Who out of our guests would like to do the elephant? Jenna, no. Casey looks like, yeah, Casey's into it. So Casey can do the elephant for us. Oops. I better make sure I take myself off. Now I'll go on mute. So please check out all of those exercises. There's a bunch more in the IAM Community group in the files section. Thank you, Jenna Breen, and thank you to Casey Rippon, and thank you to Gill Williams for coming across the street after your hour and a half of Siegfried Ideal. All right, well, thank you, everybody. Have a great week.